Welcome to the Restore It Ralph channel. Today I took Dirty Harry, the turbo Diplomat, down to the chassis dyno for some testing on intake manifolds. In the last video I removed the 5.9 Magnum kegger stock manifold and replaced it with a Hughes RPM air gap. I'm going to be adjusting the tune for the new manifold and comparing it to the results of the earlier dyno session that I did in late October with the stock manifold. I was pretty pleased with these results, and the car ran a 1285 at 107 after this dyno session. It was now time to test the Hughes manifold, so I turned my boost controller all the way down. That way I didn't hurt anything if there was something drastically different in the tune. I am neither a professional tuner or dyno operator, so please keep that in mind. This is for entertainment purposes only. Alright, this was the next run, and you can see that my peak RPM is way closer to 5,700 RPM. My peak horsepower RPM has raised up above 5,000 RPM. My peak horsepower is 367 horsepower and peak torque at 465. Now what I have done on this run is I backed my boost controller all the way off, so I'm just on wastegate. So now I am looking at 5 pounds of boost on this versus the 8 or 9 pounds of boost on the previous numbers. Here's my data log from the first dyno run. We can see I am looking at air-fuel ratio, and we've got a speed density system. So I've got engine RPM across the top, and I've got my manifold absolute pressure or MAP signal down here. So it's speed versus density, and I'm looking at the air-fuel ratio in all of those boxes. So right here, this is why I backed off my boost to 5 pounds, because I can see under boost I am way leaner than what I would like. I'm still not too concerned at this point, but that's why I'm not running it on 9 pounds for these tests. I'll analyze these numbers and change my tune in the HP Tuner's editor software. I have set up my editor software to where my numbers in my chart match my fuel tables. So once I go into here, should be able to look, and you can see the 608, 704, 800, etc. looks the same. Also my map signal. So when I look at these boxes, I can go through and decide, well, that's quite a bit rich there, that's not hateful, well, a little bit rich, and then up here it's a little bit leaner. So in these same boxes, I'm going to increase my injector pulse width in the boxes that are lean and decrease my injector pulse width in the boxes that are rich. You might notice that my injector tables do not go above 105 kPa. The ancient PCM that I'm using and the software that I'm using does not allow me to add cells above ambient or wide open throttle. So what I had to do on this PCM is I took my 52.7 and lower, that is my normal naturally aspirated table, and then everything from 65.9 up to 105 is under boost. So what I did was I just skewed my map sensor to read that way and tune accordingly. Definitely not ideal, definitely makes my resolution pretty choppy, so drivability and even just some of the tuning capabilities are limited because of that. That should be one of the main advantages to moving on to the Holley Terminator system, is I can custom tailor the sensors and my fuel tables to match what I'm actually doing and not trying to trick a PCM into doing what I want it to do. This is in no way fault of HP tuners. This is just me trying to use HP tuners on a basically outdated and unpopular PCM. All right, you can see here, these are the cells that I have adjusted, and this is the EGR off pulse width table. I'm going to just copy this whole thing and paste it into The EGR on table, even though it should never be commanded on. I don't want to find that out the hard way. And I just made a few small changes to that. So up in here, I'm not concerned about this. This is the deceleration fuel cutoff. I still have that turned on for drivability stuff. So I'm not worried about that. This is way rich down here in idle, but I'm not concerned with that for the moment because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time tuning for an idle setup that I probably won't be together for too long. Call this one Diplomat Hughes 1. Save that. Now this tune is ready to load onto the car. So when I'm ready to tune this thing, I'm going to make sure that there's a battery charger on the car so I don't lose power to the PCM while tuning. That will probably brick my PCM, and that is the opposite of what I'd like to do. I'm now ready to write the tune, so I'm going to take my MPVI2, that's what I'm using from HP Tuners to tune currently, hook it to the car, and start the process. Continued to data log and adjusted the tune and then turned the boost back up. With the boost turned back up, I was able to basically meet the same horsepower numbers as I had previously, and I was down a little bit on torque from the previous manifold, which is not surprising. The power curve was moved up in the RPM range, and the peak RPM was up by about 400 RPM. Because of my inexperience running the dyno and the time in between dyno sessions, I'm not sure if all of my dyno results are repeatable or accurate. But the car is definitely running great, and the tune is pretty close. Dyno testing is done for the day. The test of the Hughes intake manifold is complete, in my opinion. Any day that you can do dyno testing or go to the drag strip and leave not broken is a win. So we're going to leave with a win for today. The next step in the process is going to be collecting the last little bit of pieces I need for the Holley Terminator X swap and mocking it up on the car. Then another round of dyno testing and tuning. To keep up with progress on Dirty Harry and other projects on the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.